Hey, what's up? This is Sully from Godsmack. Strap on those boots, baby, because you are now in the trenches of the war room with the one and only Mistress Carrie right here on the Mistress Carrie podcast.
What's up? This is Joe Rogan, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Her hair so lovely, pretty eyes.
Hey, this is Brent from Shinedown, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie. Hey, Carrie, go put your bra on, girl.
Hey, this is Steven Tyler, and you be listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
What's up? This is Aaron from Stain, and you're listening to Mistress Carrie.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and you're listening to the one, the only Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is David from the band Disturbed, and you're listening to the baddest bitch in Boston, Mistress Carrie.
Hi, Bruce Dickinson here from Iron Maiden. Yes, indeed, Miss Whiplash herself, Mistress Carrie, is here to unchain your brain.
Hi, this is Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. You're listening to Mistress Carrie.
This is Dennis Leary. You are listening to my favorite, Mistress Carrie.
Hey, this is Corey from Stone Sour, and you have the privilege of listening to Mistress Carrie. Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, reporting for duty from MCHQ for episode 267 of the Mistress Carrie podcast. My guest this week is a 40-plus year music industry veteran who began his career back in 1983 and has built a reputation for being one of the most respected personalities in the world of rock, hard rock, and heavy metal. I'm talking about Eddie Trunk, who I have been trying to get on the show for quite a while now. He promised me in Vegas a few years ago that he would definitely come on, and with all of the big stories in rock happening right now, like the final Ozzy and Black Sabbath show, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction, the upcoming Scorpions biopic, the rumors that Aerosmith could be doing one more show, and so much more, it was absolutely the time to get Eddie Trunk on the show. Plus, he's hosting the 100 FM The Pike Hairfest coming up this weekend, July 19th at Indian Ranch in Webster, Massachusetts. When I caught up with Eddie, it was right after the Ozzy and Black Sabbath final performance, and the day before, he hopped a flight to Europe to go and film his part in the upcoming Scorpions biopic, Wind of Change. I was so excited that Eddie Trunk accepted my invitation to come on the show. So allow me to introduce you to the one and only Eddie Trunk. Mr. Eddie Trunk.
Mistress Carrie, how are you?
I have bumped into you in Vegas so many times, and you and I have sat belly up to the bar talking about how you were going to come on the show. You are a man of your word, sir.
Oh, thank you for having me. I think last time was at the Godsmack show, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, in Vegas. Yeah, that was my birthday. I drank a whole bottle of tequila that Sully gave me. So if I said anything stupid, it's not my fault. Blame Sully.
No, it's all. People always say stuff stupid in Vegas, but you didn't, so it's all good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
It just so happened that my 50th birthday synced up with a Godsmack show in Las Vegas. It was like crossing the streams with Ghostbusters. It was just not going to be good.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was a great show, too. I remember it very well.
I wanted to get you on the show now because it seems like there are all of these big, giant rock stories. That's number one. And number two, you're coming up to my neck of the woods for an event with 100 FM The Pike. So you're going to be up this way. So I wanted to talk to you about that, too. But obviously, we are all still recovering from the big Black Sabbath Ozzy weekend. What did you think overall?
Overall, I thought it was great. I really thought it was historic, incredible. It was exactly what I expected in terms of what we would get out of Ozzy and Sabbath. I think when it was announced, there was a lot of people that were like, oh my God, it's going to be a Sabbath show. We got to go. I'm like, yeah, you're going to get a few songs if you're lucky. It's going to be more of a Sabbath tribute. And that's exactly what it turned out to be. Again, I think you had to keep your expectations pretty reasonable about what you were going to get out of both Bill Ward and Ozzy. And I don't think either embarrassed themselves in any way. I think they both did fine. Geezer and Tony are still in great shape and played brilliantly. But I think it was it went well. As far as the rest of the day, I mean, for me, the whole thing was about obviously Sabbath and Ozzy solo to some degree, but really about Sabbath with Bill. But everything that went on leading into it was all amazing, I thought. I mean, there was some amazing moments, amazing performances. I mean, you and I both know all those bands. We know what they can do. I thought it was cool that they all did a Sabbath song or two around their other songs. And I thought it was also cool that the only one that did not do a Sabbath song was Steven Tyler, because he's Steven Tyler. And he came out and was Steven Tyler again, which made me so happy. So there were a lot of amazing moments. It was a very long show, but I thought that it was great in every way. I really did. I thought that I didn't have expectations beyond that for the headlining acts, but I thought that they met the expectations I had, and I thought that the whole day was a great day.
Yeah, Steven Tyler was definitely a highlight for me because he sounded so good. I thought Youngblood was great, which was a total surprise for me.
I never heard of the guy. And I was just talking with, I've talked to about 5-6 people, including Tony Iommi a few minutes ago, and including Tom Morello a few minutes ago on my radio show. And we talked about all this stuff to some degree. And yeah, I'll be honest with you, I was not aware of him. I know he's quite big in England, I guess. But yeah, doing that version of Changes. And I think the musical MVP of the whole thing is another one of your homeboys, and that was Nuno. I mean, and I had Nuno on my show yesterday talking about it. I mean, he played 12 songs. He did all the heavy lifting on guitar. And Morello just told me that was not by accident. He knew he needed a ringer to fill all that stuff. And not only did Nuno do that, but then Extreme played the next day in Canada and flew all the way to Canada to open for Def Leppard. So, I mean, unbelievable above and beyond what Nuno did in that thing.
I was calling him the utility player because, like you said, Morello needed an anchor guy, a guy that he knew he could throw those famous Ozzy solos, and a guy that could totally handle it. And I've heard Nuno called the greatest living guitar player. Do you think that I mean, he's got to be in contention for the title?
He's definitely in the conversation. I mean, I think when you talk about these greatest things, and anybody who does a poll of any kind, and look, I'm guilty of it myself. I do it as well because it inspires debate and conversation. But I think it's all, at the end of the day, totally subjective. I mean, there are amazing guitar players out there that people have never heard of because they just haven't had commercial success. They don't get in the magazines, but they're brilliant. You know, a guy that I've been a fan of for decades, a guy like Richie Kotzen, he's not a household name, but he's a guy that Nuno looks up to, is blown away by. So it really comes down to your level of awareness. And but Nuno's certainly in there. And I think the other thing with Nuno is he's talented on so many other levels. He can sing, he writes, he produces, he does it all. But he really was the ringer in that thing. And I told him, I said, you were, at least from the musical perspective, the MVP. And Tom just said to me, he goes, that was by no accident. He goes, I know I needed that guy and I could throw anything at him. And remember, something I didn't know, Tom just told me this, Wolfgang Van Halen was supposed to be on it and pulled off. So when Wolf pulled off, that opened up like 3-4 more songs. And that's why Nuno ended up playing so much.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And Wolfgang had to kick off the Creed tour on another continent like the next day, which is why Rob Halford and the guys weren't there. It's why Billy Morrison and Billy Idol weren't there. It was like the world's worth of touring can't stop for that day, but they tried like hell.
Yeah. Well, it's actually good that some people ended up not being able to do it, because as it was, the thing was 8.5 hours. So it still could have been going.
I know. We'd still be watching it right now.
Yeah, exactly.
How did Tony Iommi feel about the whole thing? Because even though, you know, obviously you look at Ozzy in his throne and you know, raising money for Parkinson's, that he's battling that. I can't imagine being part of something for 55 years, whether the band was together or not, whether they were active or not, and then to have it be done. I mean, I remember what it was like my last show on WAAF, 5 minutes to midnight before the station got shut down after 50 years. I don't know how you put something like that to bed without being melancholy about it.
Well, Tony, and people who want to hear this interview with Tony, for people that have SiriusXM, it's on the app right now, because at the time we're doing this, it literally just happened minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it out free to the world as a podcast in about a week and a half. That's how I roll my stuff out. But Tony was super transparent about things just now and leading into this. And he was very honest about the fact he did not want to do this. He felt because Sabbath did a farewell. Sabbath played a farewell show in Birmingham. They called it The End, and Tony said it was the end. And we also know it's become almost a joke of every band with these farewell tours because nobody adheres to it. So Tony was like really sensitive to that. And Tony admitted he was a holdout in greenlighting this. But when it became a charity event, that's when he said, well, I don't want to be the one that deprives the charity. And the biggest thing about this whole concert, which, over the course of its announcement, it shifted into being an Ozzy thing. It was not about that. It was about Bill Ward. The whole reason why it happened was because the final shows Sabbath did were not with Bill. So if Bill would have said, I can't or don't want to do this, this whole thing probably does not happen. So he was really the key to it. And Tony said, he goes, look, we put a lot into just getting those 4 songs. Bill had not played in 20 years. Ozzy's got his problems. We were quite worried, he said. And we got what we got. We hope people are okay with it. It was what it is for guys at our age in the condition we're in. And he was very, very, it wasn't like we dominated and he wasn't like we sucked. He was kind of measured. It was kind of what it was. The other thing that came through, which was really interesting, was he said that he wished Ozzy did not do a solo set. He thought that the night should have just been about Sabbath, which is how it was originally going to be. And he felt that Ozzy would have had more stamina if he could have done just a Sabbath set, and that they had rehearsed up to 7 songs. And they ended up only doing 4 because that's all they could really get at that point. Also, there was a curfew issue. So, that was pretty candid from Tony as well. Again, it morphed. It became like, I even saw some taglines, Ozzy's final bow, and I'm like, and anybody can read into that what they will as to why that happened. I'll leave that out there. But
Sharon Osbourne had come out and said more than a year ago that Ozzy's dream was to do 2 shows, one for his solo stuff and one for Sabbath.
Right.
And I think that at that point, he still thought he was going to recover better than he has.
Right. So, look, I don't think anybody embarrassed themselves. I think everybody did great. I think that there were a lot of great performances on the day. I think that is, unfortunately, the last time you're going to see those original 4 guys up there. Like I was saying earlier, it's remarkable to think all 4 members of Sabbath are still alive of the original band. The way they polluted themselves for decades and the craziness that went on. So you got to savor that. You got to enjoy it. I thought the whole thing was great for our kind of music and historic. And I'm sure the DVD and Blu-ray and vinyl and CD and all that will be coming soon. And they also, most importantly, raised a ton of money for the charity.
A ton of money. It came out that more than 5 million people watched the stream. That's huge.
Yeah, and that's really, really important. Obviously, Ozzy's dealing with Parkinson's. People forget Tony Iommi's been dealing with leukemia for years. So these guys all have their issues, and it hits close to home, some of these causes. So that's good. I'll tell you something I thought I brought up more than once, and I brought it up to Tony, too, and he started cracking up. I thought it was the ballsiest, give no shits attitude in the world for Bill Ward to play with his shirt off.
Oh, my God. I thought when I saw him, I was like, he gives no fucks right now. None.
Unbelievable. He was 23 again, and I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I am playing, I am rocking, and I'm taking my shirt off. I wouldn't take my shirt off in public in the last 20 years. That man to do that, I'm being honest, I'm envious. I wish I could give that little fucks about something.
You know what? I think when we get to their age, I can't wait to be that little old lady that says stuff and people just go, she's old. You can't, I can't wait.
I mean, I'm lucky. I still have my mom and dad, and they're in their mid-80s now, but I'm seeing that out of my mom, less and less filter. And I'm like, I guess that's what happens, but good on Bill for doing that. Tony told a funny story. He said they were in catering, and Bill came in with his shirt off, and Geezer bit into his sandwich. He goes, I'm about to throw up. Put your damn shirt on. So they were all busting each other's chops, too, again, which was great.
Oh, I wanted to say that I thought Tom Morello did a really good job as the musical director. Like keeping track of who was doing what song and kind of making sure that all of the eras of like Sabbath and Ozzy's career were all covered by all of the other artists.
Yeah, he told me that was a big challenge dealing with who wanted to do what song. And there was only one song that was played twice, and that was Electric Funeral. Rival Sons did it, and Pantera did it. That was a bit of a mix-up that shouldn't have happened. There was only one artist that didn't do a Sabbath or Ozzy song. That was Steven. But yeah, there was a big juggling act with that because, as we know, in this business, there is a hierarchy. So if Guns N' Roses comes in and says, I'm doing this, then the band 4 slots down is getting it pulled. And there was a lot of that had to be negotiated.
Didn't Fred Durst do changes on a video and then Youngblood did it on the stage, right?
You know, I didn't see the video thing. I didn't know that. They showed that during the stream, the video?
I thought they did. I read an article that said that it was like a stripped down, very out of character Fred Durst thing, because I was expecting Fred Durst to come out on stage. I was expecting Jonathan Davis, and the guys from Soundgarden were all promoted to be part of the show, and none of them got on that stage that day.
And Brian May was there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was in the audience. And Brian May is super close with Tony. And I asked Tony, how did Brian not end up on stage? And he said that Brian wanted to play with Sabbath. And those guys felt, being their final show, it should have just been the 4, which makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
And I just brought it up to Tom. He's like, we talked about some stuff with Brian. It didn't work out. Tom clearly wanted to move off of it. So something weird went on there, I think. But yeah, I mean, look, if you think about it, there's so many artists that could have been a part of it. A few people brought up to me, and I think it's a valid point, that especially for Ozzy, he had a huge influence in that whole MTV 80s era on a lot of 80s hard rock acts. And that was kind of absent from the bill. You know, somebody like a Motley Crue who opened for Ozzy early on, you know, the stuff of that ilk was kind of missing from it. It was either the real metal stuff or somebody younger like Youngblood. They kind of left that out in it. But look, again, you can't do it all. You can't have everybody. Again, the show is already over 8 hours. What are you going to do? We'd still be here watching. And there's still, like, I watched, I'd say 90% of it, but there's still these little pieces I'm hearing about that I didn't see.
Well, there's a rumor that Motley Crue was the band that got kicked off by Sharon. I heard that rumor, but I don't know if it's true, because there was a band that wanted to profit from their performance, and she said no and got in a fight with their manager.
I don't know what the reasons were for it, but I was told and heard from several sources that the band was Slipknot.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, see.
And she claims she's going to reveal it.
Yeah.
So she hasn't yet. But
which is going to be interesting, considering Sid Wilson's going to be her son-in-law, if that's true.
Right. I thought that was odd, too. And also, there was something else. Oh, and the drummer from Slipknot was there. Because there was a photo of him meeting Bill Ward in this big moment for him.
I saw that picture, yeah.
Yeah. So it's odd. You know, I was shocked Jakey Lee was there, because Jake has been through a lot, but Jake has also had some beefs with her over publishing, you know, writing Bark at the Moon and not getting money or credit. So, you know, but Tom went to bat for him.
Yeah.
The other person I thought should have been there, but was not, was Lita Ford.
You know what? I was so surprised that she wasn't there. I saw an interview with Lizzie Hale that said originally she was going to do that song with Ozzy, and then it
was told no.
Yeah, that they just weren't going to pull it off.
That they didn't want it played.
Wow.
I mean, look, you know, let's be honest. I mean, Sharon casts a huge shadow. She has her people that she's cool with, and the people that she does not, for whatever reason, is not cool with, and that's what's going to happen. I don't know the woman, but she doesn't like me. So, you know, I can't figure that out. I don't know what is heard or said or believed. I don't know her. But the list is long of people in that category for whatever reason, and is what it is. But yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some decisions made in certain areas that probably had a lot to do with her and how she felt about certain people.
Well, the same weekend in another country was the big 60th anniversary concert with the Scorpions and Judas Priest opening up. And when you think about longevity of career, the fact that the Scorpions are 60 blows my mind.
Yeah, it really is unbelievable. And that event, unfortunately, was tremendously overshadowed because of the Sabbath thing. And that was announced first. So I don't think they ever knew that it was something like this was gonna come up against their event. Now, it didn't hurt them at all draw-wise, because they did 45,000 people, and Judas Priest and Alice Cooper supported that show. So that's those guys. That's why you had KK only from Priest at the Sabbath thing, because Priest was playing in Germany, opening for Scorpions. So but the whole thing really, in my opinion, was really overshadowed from a media standpoint. But I was also disappointed because I did a little research and found out that Scorpions did nothing different at that show. They did their usual set. They didn't bring out past members. All they had was some video screen mentions or messages from other artists saying congratulations. But set-wise, guest-wise, there was nothing. It was a regular show like they've been doing the last few years.
Well, they announced that they recorded it and they're releasing it as a live album coming out in November, I think.
Right.
So, maybe they just want to make sure they got all the hits in there,
Right. And they actually did do a thing about 20 years ago where they brought out ex-members. I mean, Rudolph doesn't talk to his brother Michael anymore, so he wouldn't have been there. I don't know where Uli John Roth was. I don't know where Herman Rarebell was. I mean, there's a lot of people, a lot of things they could have done. But I also think, Carrie, it gets to a point with these guys when Scorpions are late 70s now.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you just get into a cycle. It's like, these are the songs we know. This is what we have rehearsed. This is what we're comfortable with. This is what we can sing. This is what we can play. And we're just going to leave it.
Yeah. Well, they've got the trailer for their movie that just came out, and you're getting ready to go because, spoiler alert, maybe a little Eddie Trunk cameo. Are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't tell me I couldn't, but I'm leaving. We're doing this on Tuesday. I'm leaving tomorrow for London, and I'm flying over there to do I'm sure on screen it'll be 5-10 seconds. It's they just sent me what I'm doing today. It's two lines, so I'll take it. I've been in a ton of documentaries and TV and all that, but I've never actually been in an acted scripted movie. It's something I always wanted to do, and I'm not playing myself because it's set in the 70s and 80s. But the guy who's producing it, I got to know about 5 years ago. He is originally from Iran. He fled Iran when he was 18. He's in his 50s now. And he has Scorpions are super important to him. And Scorpions, for people that don't know, have this huge global impact, more so than even in America. And they were a very important band to him growing up. He came to America when he was 17, 18, and he has built a really successful career as a producer, actor in movies in Hollywood. And the movies he makes are very profitable. They're not like these box office blockbusters, but they're profitable and successful. And he is, his name is Ali Afshar. And he talked to me about 5 years ago because he wanted to make a movie on Scorpions. He was asking me for some ideas and some thoughts. I helped him out. We stayed in touch. I met with him at his office in LA. And he said he finally got it greenlit to make the movie. And he said, I'd love to have you involved in this. And I go, I'd love to be. What are you thinking? And he said, I don't know. I said, well, put me in it. And he's like, yeah? I go, yeah, I'd love to be in it. And he goes, cool, we'll do that. And I didn't think he was being serious, and I'm not an actor. I don't claim to be an actor, but what I have to do is not going to be heavy lifting. And he said to me, he goes, yeah, we're going to make that happen. So he was good to his word. And I'm flying over there tomorrow and going to do this one quick scene and come back. And it's going to be a cool experience. And look, obviously he's not dumb. Having me also gives me a platform to talk about it, which I would be doing anyway, though, because it's a rock movie. So but it's going to be a great experience and kind of a bucket list thing, and I'm psyched for it. And the band themselves are not in it. It's not a documentary. It's a biopic. Yeah. It's all actors. So it'll be cool.
I read that they've sold 100 million albums. And to your point, they're a big band in the United States, but their global success, they're way bigger outside of the United States.
Yeah, they have hold of very different stature outside of America. And they've always been a band that's toured worldwide and built this huge worldwide audience. And I think they're way more revered outside of America. I think here in America, people think of them for Rock You Like a Hurricane, No One Like You, Wind of Change. Yeah, but outside of America, I mean, and I also think people forget with the Scorpions that they didn't break. They were already together for like 15 years before they broke in America, releasing records before they had a hit in America. So they were always kind of late here. But Deep Purple's kind of like that too. Deep Purple are gods outside of America, like looked at like we look at Led Zeppelin here. And here it's Smoke on the Water band. So there are those bands that have that sort of standing, and Scorpions are definitely one of them. And I think this movie the movie kind of focuses more on like the Berlin Wall and them coming up in Germany as kids and all of that. So there's that political aspect to it too.
One of the other big stories I wanted to talk to you about before we get to your appearance up in New England is coming out of the Back to the Beginning appearance by Steven Tyler. You talked to Joe Perry before that performance and were asking Joe about the possibility of Aerosmith doing a final show or a final tour and being able to do something again because of the way that everything kind of got canceled.
Yeah, and that interview will be available free to everybody this Thursday on my podcast. We're going to post it there. Usually we wait a week or two for the SiriusXM subscribers to have at it, and then I'll put it out to everybody. So that's going out on Thursday. And yeah, it was a great chat with Joe. I was really grateful he came on, and we spoke for a long time, and he's open to it. I mean, they're definitely not going to tour. The idea of touring, it's too big of a machine. It was extremely costly to start a tour and stop it twice. That's very costly, and they're not going to make that mistake again. But the idea of doing a show or two, I mean, I don't even know if they could get Vegas to take another shot on a residency, because same deal. It was canceled twice. Very expensive to block out the theater and bring the gear in there.
I saw that residency. I got to see one of the shows. It was great.
Yeah, I saw it a couple times. But remember the last time they were supposed to do it, I think they got one show and it came down.
Yeah.
Because I was there about to go and it didn't happen. So, yeah, I think, look, I think that Aerosmith would be a candidate for something like we just saw for Sabbath. I mean, that would be great, but
I'd love them to do it at like Gillette Stadium and be kind of at home outside of Boston. Last time I saw them, they played with the aforementioned Extreme at Fenway Park. It was like the most Boston experience of my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that they got to go out like at least with the show. And I don't care if they've got stage props. Just put up a line of amps in it. Stage. I mean, that's all I need to hear Aerosmith. And I hope they do it. And I know it was only 3 songs, but man, Steven was Steven again. That was the biggest. I was watching that thing. I'm like, he's back. He's totally back. And he's taken baby steps. I was at the Janie's Fun thing he did in January in LA. He came out with Nuno. They did a couple songs. And then Joe did something with him for Janie's Fun. And then now this, and if he feels like they could get an hour and a half out of him, I mean, it would be amazing to see them do something again. And from what I heard and saw, I don't see why they couldn't.
Yeah, Joe Perry's got the Joe Perry Project, speaking of Fenway, opening up for The Who at Fenway this summer with the who's who of, the guys from STP and Chris Robinson and Brad Whitford. Like, he wants to do stuff.
Well, I'm super excited about that, by the way. I mean, I love the first couple Joe Perry Project records, and I think that's an amazing lineup with Chris Robinson and, like you said, the STP guys. And you got 2/5 of Aerosmith. Brad's playing, Buck Johnson. I mean, that's I can't wait to catch one of those shows. But yeah, if you think about it, you got Joe and Brad going out. Tom Hamilton's doing his band Close Enemies. Steven's now out there.
Joey Kramer is the biggest variable.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we know Joey didn't play with them the last few times and probably couldn't if they did something, maybe a song or two. But still, to get 4/5, be wonderful if Joey could do it. But if he couldn't, 4/5 and maybe a cameo from Joey, I mean, it's got to happen.
Yeah, that band deserves. When I talked to Sam Carter from Architects before the Black Sabbath thing, he said Ozzy deserves to get his flowers. And it's like, so does Aerosmith, that they deserve to see the impact they've had on rock and roll and to be celebrated for the legends they are.
Yeah, no, I agree. And people have said to me after seeing what happened with Sabbath, and we saw what Dave Grohl did when Taylor Hawkins died, and those huge shows, like, what's the next band that should get that treatment? Of the bands that are still with us, Aerosmith for sure, but the band that I think that just got nothing was Van Halen. I mean, I think it's still crazy that there was no big. I mean, what happened for Sabbath could easily happen for Eddie Van Halen, easily, if somebody wanted to do it.
It just seems that that's more of a political thing.
100%.
That the personalities around the Van Halen camp just can't kind of get it together to make it happen. And poor Wolfgang. You know, when I had him on the show, I asked him, you know, did you ever wish your dad was just a plumber? Because I look at him like I look at a member of the British royal family. Not that their lives are the same, but from birth, it didn't matter what Wolfgang wanted to do. From birth, he was the heir to Eddie's legacy, whether he wanted it or not.
Yeah.
That he got thrust into this machine.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, I think he's done a good job kind of distancing himself from it, doing his own music and all of that. But you just wonder, where does the Van Halen legacy lie? Because it would be with Alex. I mean, he's pushed everything to Alex. He's always like Uncle Al. And that's all good. But I mean, I don't know how motivated Alex is to dig into archives or put stuff together. He tried, you know, he talked about originally doing that thing that Sammy ended up doing with Satriani, but that never came apart. I mean, Wolfgang's admitted this to me and others have said it. I mean, there's just always been this unbelievable level of dysfunction when it comes to Van Halen. It's hard to figure out, but that should happen. Something should still happen for Eddie, in my opinion.
If it were any other member of the band that was gone, Eddie would have put it together and it would have happened. But because Eddie was kind of, you know, the hub of the whole thing, that it scatters every other part of it to the wind. And you're right. I mean, when you talk about guitar players, like we were talking about earlier, like the best guitar players ever, that loss of Eddie and the impact that he had on rock music, every guitar player on the planet would want to be part of that tribute.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just get, I mean, you have Roth, you have Sammy, you have Michael, you have Alex. They do what they can do. And then you could have this rotisserie of guitar players and even guest singers. I mean, there's not a person that doesn't want to go up and play Van Halen. So it could be unbelievable if they did it. And it's still hard to believe that it hasn't happened, but never too late.
Well, I got to ask you about the big Hair Fest. The annual Pike Hair Fest is coming up next weekend, or actually when this gets released this weekend, Saturday, July 19th at Indian Ranch in Webster. It's going to be Empire, the Queensryche tribute, Shot of Poison, the Poison tribute, the aforementioned Ozzy, the Osmosis, Ozzy Osbourne tribute, and you were talking about Deep Purple, Beyond Purple, the tribute to Deep Purple, Whitesnake, Dio, and Rainbow, and you're going to be there to host the whole thing.
Yeah, so I'm excited because I have not been to the Boston area in a really long time. And I got to thank you because of you connecting me with Chuck. You know, my radio show is now heard on the Pike Weekly, my syndicated show. I remember you came up to me and said you should contact him. So thank you for that. It worked out.
Absolutely.
And and then really what happened was my friend Frank Papillo, who is in the
Shot of Poison
tribute. Yeah. I got to know Frank in the last, 6 years or so. Great guy. We see each other at a lot of events and stuff. And I know him and his wife. And they Frank's been wanting me to come up there and host this. He's the promoter for it. He's wanting me to do it for a long time. And it just hasn't worked with my schedule. Whatever I have going on, there's always been conflicts. And then this year it worked out schedule-wise that it was going to be okay for me to do. And And then with the Pike involved and my show being on the Pike and everybody, in that area I haven't seen in a while, I told Frank, sure, I'll come up. And then I guess he's doing a post thing at his club Rascals, which he's been wanting me to come to forever. And my Jersey buddies Trickster are playing that. So it'll be a fun afternoon and night. I'm looking forward to it.
The Hairfest is like the ultimate day drinking experience. It's one of those shows. And if it's hot, it's like you have to pace yourself because it gets nuts. It's so much fun.
Yeah, Frank told me the sales are really good and that he's expecting I think he said more than a couple thousand people.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be a great turnout. Hopefully the weather will be great. And yeah, I'm not only excited for the event, but just to see everybody because I have, many friends in that area and listeners and what have you. And it's odd. I mean, I split my time between New Jersey and Vegas now, but being in New Jersey my whole life and being from Jersey, I mean, it's not that far. I mean, 3.5, 4 hour car ride. It's not that, but I just haven't gotten there. I think one of the last times I came up was when you were at AAF and I was, and Ron Valeri was still there and the station was there and they were running my show. And I went and met with Ron and that's a long time ago now.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I'm looking forward to not only the event, but just seeing everybody and being back in that area for the first time in a while.
That's why I'm willing to have you on my show to talk about music. But you being from New Jersey, you're not allowed to come on my show and talk about sports.
See my Giants hat?
Yes, I saw your friggin' Giants hat.
I got nothing to gloat about. My team's awful the last few years. So I'll be Giants fan till I'm in the ground. So
yeah, but you know how Boston fans are. You guys got us twice. Those bruises still sting. And, we'll hate that to the death just because you got us a couple times.
I know. It's funny. I used to always think that the Patriots fans hated the Jets the most because they were in the division. And then I realized the Jets are so bad, they're no threat to the Pats. And now, and that there was this hatred for the Giants. I had no idea because I'm like, we're not even in the same conference. And I was like, oh, those 2 Super Bowls. That's right.
Yeah. Just those 2 Super Bowls. Yeah, no big deal. Like we don't have big giant scars from those car accidents.
Hey, at least I'm a Mets fan and I'm not a Yankees fan. So
well, listen, you and I have spoken about that at great length because if you were a Yankees fan, it would almost make it, even though that rivalry is not what it used to be now that the curse has been broken,
right?
Which I can't believe was 21 years ago, which blows my mind.
Yeah.
Because I still remember exactly where I was, exactly what I was doing. But it's crazy how time passes like that, where it's like, we still hate the Yankees, but it's not like willing to go to jail to hate the Yankees anymore.
Do you ever see those commercials for that charity Tunnel to Towers?
Yeah.
You see those? You see the one that Mark Wahlberg did?
No.
He's for people that don't know, Tunnel to Towers is a great 9/11 charity for those impacted and for first responders. And they run the TV commercial constantly, and they have these different celebrities that'll come on and encourage people to donate. And one of them, Mark Wahlberg's in, and he's talking to the guy who runs it, who's from New York, very New York accent, and he's showing them through the charity stuff and what they do for families and stuff. And Mark Wahlberg in the commercial looks at the guy and he goes, you see, now we can have no problem anymore with New York-Boston sports rivalries because you're from New York and you're doing all this. I'm like, even in that setting, the sports thing came up.
It always comes up, man. It always comes up.
It was funny.
Well, I'm super excited about you coming up here next weekend. And just with everything that's going on in music, it's a really good time to be in the rock community right now. It's very exciting.
As somebody that does a daily rock talk show, it's been great. It's like my Super Bowl season or whatever, because there has been so much going on. I mean, even stuff a little outside of our wheelhouse. I mean, the biggest rock story of the whole weekend was Oasis. Yeah. Whether you like them or not, they kicked off their tour and they did 150,000 people in 2 nights. And the first 2 nights, I mean, it's staggering. So, and I do like that band, and they're a rock band as well. So I do like what they do. So yeah, it's a good time, And then for the future, to see a younger artist like this Youngblood kid come out and get all this buzz, I mean, It definitely good. I love Rival Sons. To see
me
that
too.
play.
I was so happy that they were part of that bill. They were great.
Yeah, so good. So it's great. A lot of cool tours, a lot of stuff getting announced, and it does suck because it seems like every couple weeks we're seeing some of our heroes hang it up. I mean, as much as the whole back to the beginning thing is still buzzing, the bottom line is it's the last time we're probably going to see Ozzy on a stage. So that kind of sucks, and we don't know what the future of Aerosmith is, and some of these guys are going away, but you hope that there will be others that will step in and fill the void. And then you look at Metallica or something that's been going over 40 years, but still going strong. So I don't believe in the doom and gloom aspect of the future. I think we still got some encouraging signs.
Yeah, and then once we get through the fall, we can start arguing about who's going to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next year again.
Well, that's an argument I do almost every day with people.
I know, me too.
Me
too. I was just talking about Billy Idol and how he didn't make the cut this year. Zach Wilde, when I had him on the show last, was really funny about it. He goes, we know who's already in. They just can't put everybody in all at once because then they won't have an excuse for a party next year. But they're all getting in. We know they're getting in. And I'm like, yeah, there he is, the philosopher of Zach Wilde.
See, I'm a big believer in seniority. I think you've got to put the acts that are the oldest that came first before you start worrying about a band like the Foo Fighters or something. I mean,
because we're going to lose them.
Exactly. And you see it happen every single year. Look no further than they snubbed Bad Company for 25 years, and now they're going in and Mick Ralphs just died. It's just horrible when they do that. They snubbed Deep Purple forever. John Lord wasn't alive when they went in. So you see that. That's what makes me really, really angry about passing over people for so long. Bad Company was never even on a ballot, and they finally got on and they went in. And then you look at Foreigner, same deal. They snubbed Foreigner for so long that Mick Jones couldn't be there because he's not well. It's just, I really believe the older bands, have to get priority treatment. The
fact that Maiden didn't get in this year when they could totally go up on that stage and play and have that moment that they deserve for being the huge band that they are.
Yeah, but the difference with Maiden is Maiden wants nothing to do with it.
I know.
Like Maiden does. I doubt they'd show up. They shit on it. They don't. If they do interviews, they don't even want you bringing it up. They don't want to talk about it. So that doesn't mean they won't go in. I mean, Dolly Parton said, "Don't put me in," and they still put her in. But Maiden, as much as they deserve and should be in, they clearly, you got artists that have that position, and then you got an artist like Bon Jovi openly campaign to be in. So everybody has like a different landing spot on it. But if they decide they want to put you in, whether you show or not, they're going to do it. And Maiden is massive oversight.
Well, Alice Cooper is going in the Radio Hall of Fame. So maybe you and I someday will get into that one. Maybe you and I need to start a campaign to start getting each other in there.
I brought that up. They made a big deal about and I love Alice, and Alice deserves everything he gets, and he's unbelievable. But I said they made a deal at like Alice. He's been doing radio for 20 years. I'm like, I'm in my 42nd year over here.
Yeah,
42 years. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not quite as long for me, but it's been quite a long time for me too. And
come on.
Maybe someday, Eddie, I'll belly up to the bar with you at the induction ceremony.
Yeah, but did you hear the tickets for the people to go to it are $550?
No.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's like when you play the Super Bowl and you have to buy tickets for everyone that loves you and it costs you a fortune. If you or I ever get into the Radio Hall of Fame, we'd go bankrupt because of all the tickets we'd have to buy.
And the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is like that. I think you get 2 if you're inducted, and then everyone else is like 10 grand ahead. It's insane. I went to the induction twice. Once when Kiss got in, because Ace and Peter brought me, and I sat with them, and their table was paid for by somebody else for the extra seats. It was literally like 50, 60 grand.
Wow. I had no idea that it cost that
it's
much.
crazy.
I thought they sold the tickets for like the crowd, and that's how they paid for it. I didn't know they charged you for the tables.
If you get inducted, you get a +1. You yourself and 1 +1. Anyone additional you pay.
Wow.
It's a lot of money too.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And it's a nonprofit.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I get it. It makes sense, but still, Jesus.
I know.
Well, I can't wait to see you in the Scorpions movie. I'm not gonna blink because I don't want to. If you got 2 lines, I want to make sure I'm gonna see you.
You may. I mean, I don't know. It's 2 lines, but they could get cut. Who knows? But yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. It's supposed to come out towards the end of. It should come out this year. They're talking late this year, so that's exciting. And again, I'm doing it more for the bucket list experience. I'm not under any illusions that I'm an actor.
I would do it. I'd get on a plane for 1 line. Are you kidding me? I would do it too.
It'll be cool. It should be fun.
Well, start hydrating now, and don't forget the sunscreen for Hairfest because it's outside, it's hot, the mullet wigs and the jorts. It is a blast, and we'll see you there.
Look forward to it. I'm excited to be coming that way, and I'll see you soon.
There he is, the one and only Eddie Trunk, who'll be featured, well, at least appearing in the new Scorpions biopic, Wind of Change, that should be out by the end of this year. Eddie Trunk is going to be hosting the annual 100 FM The Pike Hairfest this weekend at Indian Ranch in Webster, Massachusetts, and you can get more details and the link to get tickets in the show notes of this episode. Also in the show notes, you'll find the link to this episode's corresponding playlist. I make a playlist for every full-length episode of the Mistress Carrie podcast that features all of the artists and songs that we referenced in the interview. You'll also find all of Eddie Trunk's links and all the Mistress Carrie links. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, and comment on the Mistress Carrie podcast. New full-length episodes come out every Wednesday. Plus, every weekday, you get the Sit Rep. The Situation Report brings you all of your rock news, music headlines, and entertainment updates in about 5 minutes. And you never know when we're going to release a bonus episode. Join me live every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern for my weekly streaming video show, Cocktails in the War Room. And you can always find me on the radio. Get the details on all of that and more at mistresscarrie.com. The Mistress Carrie Podcast, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network.